Week off the Kings this week? No, it's called Kings this week. You have to do it every week. I didn't take a week off last week. No. After a week hiatus, we are back with another episode of Kings This Week. My name is Jordan Kiss. Thank you again for joining me here. There is lots to get to on this episode. We're going to recap 4 games for the Kings. There's also a new player I'm going to introduce to you as well, plus a new contest and some upcoming event for the Kings this weekend. So there's lots to get to. So let's get right into it with our showcase rundown. Now, last week, the Kings kicked off a 4-game road trip with a stop in Chilliwack at the BCHL Showcase, and it started on Tuesday with a game against the West Kelowna Warriors for their only meeting of the season. Now, the Kings went off to a perfect start here in this one, 4:44 in. Kings on the power play. Casey Yaman with a wrist shot from the point. Rebound is there, and guess who is there? It is Park Lalonde to put it in for his second of the season to give the Kings the early lead, but the Warriors would storm back about 3 minutes later on a power play of their own. Matthew Fusco, the one-timer from the left circle, just getting under the arm of Metzen for his 4th of the year, as we were tied after 20 minutes in Chilliwack. Now, the second period, the Warriors started to take over. They would go on to score 3 goals in that middle frame to have a 4-1 lead after 2 periods. They would add 1 more in the third to walk away with a 5-1 victory over the Kings. Final shots in that game were 35-28 for the Warriors. Kings going 1 for 3 on the power play. We're going 3 for 4 on the penalty kill. Then on Wednesday, the Kings were up bright and early for their first of 2 meetings with the Salmon Arm Silverbacks this season. It would be Salmon Arm getting on the board for the first time in this game. Late in the first period, Brandon Santawana with a snapshot from the left circle going over Liam Vanderkoy, who was getting the start against his former team to give the Silverbacks the 1-0 lead. Now, there was no scoring in the second period as we jump to the third. Brandon Gillespie making it 2-0 for Salmon Arm, just outweighing Liam Vanderkoy and tucking it by his pad to give the Backs a 2-goal lead. Now, the Kings would get 1 goal back on a power play of their own. Jack Blanchett with a one-timer, a rocket off his stick from the right circle for his 2nd of the season. But that would be it for the offense for the Kings in that game, as the Backs would add a empty netter, as the Kings will fall short 3-1 and go 0-2 at the BCHL Showcase. Now, after the showcase, the Kings would make a roster addition as they've officially added Noah Eyre to the team. Now, Noah was an off-season signing by the Kings, but he elected to start the year in the USHL with the Fargo Force. Now, he would play in 2 games for the Force and would be unable to collect a point in those 2 games, as he's now elected to come here to the BCHL in Powell River with the Kings, where he does have some familiar faces on this team. Of course, he went to Shattuck St. Mary's, where Casey Yaman, Will Jones, and Anthony Yu all played as well. Actually, Noah played the last 3 seasons with Will Jones and Anthony Yu. Noah comes from Vienna, Virginia, and is committed to play Division I hockey at Princeton University. Now, stay tuned to the Kings' social media channels tomorrow, as I will be interviewing Noah Eyre. So welcome to the Kings, Noah. Now, on Friday, the Kings would face the Cranbrook Bucks for the 2nd time ever, and for the first time in Cranbrook at Western Financial Place. It would be the Bucks that got off to the early start, taking a 2-0 lead within the first 11 minutes of the game. Now, Max Poffin would make it 2-1 with 1:48 to go in the first period. Cam Simons with the pass up to Poffin off the boards, as Poffin would shoot it past Nathan Eyre for his 3rd goal of the season, as Simons picked up his first assist in the BCHL. But in the second period, just like we saw on Tuesday, the other team started to take over, as the Bucks would go on to score 5 goals in the middle frame to take a 7-1 lead into the third period. Now, the Bucks would quickly extend that lead to 9-1 within the first 5 minutes of the third period, but the Kings would get 2 back. 7:44, Parker Lalonde, his 3rd of the season, with the backhander in front of the net. And then at 16:54, Carter McNarland, his 3rd of the season, season as well, with a long wrister finding its way through traffic past a screened Nathan Airy to make it a 9-3 game. Now the Bucks would add one more late to seal the deal with a 10-3 victory against the Kings. Now the shots in this game were 56-45 for the Bucks, so plenty of shots for both sides. This was the first time this season the Kings registered 40 shots on net, while the Kings penalty kill was still relatively successful in this game, going 4 for 5 on the penalty kill. Now on Saturday, the Kings will look to bounce back from that 10-3 loss against Cranbrook and finish off the 4-game road trip on a high note as they paid a visit to Cominco Arena and the Trail Smoke Eaters. Now we would be scoreless in the first period in this game. In the second period, the Kings would actually find themselves on a 4-minute penalty kill after Will Jones was sent to the box for slew footing. The Smoke Eaters actually had possession in the offensive zone for the first 3 minutes of this power play, with good saves like this one from Kyle Metzen would keep it a scoreless game, as Metzen coming across to make the pad save, as the Kings will then find themselves afterwards on a 5-minute major power play that carried into the third period, but were unable to score on that 5-minute major. But the scoring would start in the third period. It would be Trail getting on the board first with a power play of their own. Adam Marshall with a shot from the left circle fires it home over the glove of Metzen to give the Smokies the 1-0 lead. Now the Kings would quickly answer back on the rush. Cam Simons would go cross ice to Colin McDougall. He would wire a wrister past Tegan Kendrick for his second of the season to even the score 1-1. Now later on in the third period, Brandon Toy would force the turnover in the neutral zone. The puck would come to Parker Lalonde, who would take it down the right wing. He would find Brandon Toy open into the slot, snapped one on net off the tip of the glove of Tegan Kendrick, and just trickled over the goal line as Brandon Toy would score his first goal of the season. And it couldn't come at a better time for the Kings, as that ended up being the game winner, as the Kings ending their 6-game losing streak by a score of 2-1, as they now sit 3-7-1 through 11 games on the season. In that game, the Kings again putting 40 shots on net, out shooting the Smoke Eaters 42-32, while Cal Metzen made 31 saves for his first win in the BCHL. Now this weekend, the Kings are back at home for a short 2-game homestand at Hap Parker Arena as they host the Langley Rivermen both Friday and Saturday at 7 o'clock. Now the Rivermen come into this weekend's games with a record of 2-8-2. Now they dropped their first 10 games of the season before picking up their first 2 wins this past weekend. Both of them on home ice against Salmon Arm and Coquitlam. Both of them in a shootout as well, as they look to make it a 3-game win streak here this weekend. It's going to be a very crucial matchup for both of these squads. They're both not off to the hot starts that they would hope for this season, and right now sit at the bottom of the Coastal Conference standings. And also, something has got to give this weekend too, is the Kings looking for their first home win of the year, while the Rivermen have yet to win on the road. So something is going to give, and it should be a very fun weekend for both of these sides. So be sure to get your tickets at tickets.palriverkings.com. Now, of course, it is spooky season with Halloween coming on Monday, and we're going to get into the Halloween spirit this weekend at Hap Parker Arena with a spooktacular weekend against the Langley Rivermen. There's going to be a Halloween-themed photo booth at the games here, both Friday and Saturday. And then on Saturday, be sure to come in your Halloween costume, as we'll be having a costume contest with prizes for the best Halloween costumes. Now, there will also be Halloween-themed intermission games, Halloween-themed music, who knows what else, as we're going to get into the spooky spirit this weekend in the Hap Parker Arena. So be sure to come by, wear your costumes. We'll hope to see you there. Now, here at the Kings, we don't only love to win on the ice, we love for you to win off the ice as well, as we have another prize giveaway with our gift card basket raffle. We've joined up with a number of local businesses here in Powell River for a gift card basket worth $1,100. You could win that gift card basket. Ticket sales will begin this Friday at the Kings game and will run until December 9th, where the winner will be announced on December 10th at our home game during the second intermission. Now, tickets are $20 each. You can stop by the Kings office to do so, and we only have a limited amount of tickets available, so get your tickets while you can. Again, $20 each per ticket, supporting local businesses here in Powell River. It is a gift card basket worth $1,100, so get your tickets as soon as you can before they run out. And just like that, another episode of Kings This Week is complete. Once again, thank you very much for joining me. Kings back at home this weekend for a little short 2-game homestand against the Langley Rivermen, and it is a spectacular weekend here at the Hat Parker Arena with a Halloween photo booth both Friday and Saturday night and a costume contest on Saturday. Both games will start at 7 o'clock. You can get your tickets online. Skip the line at tickets.powellriverkings.com. So until next week, my name is Jordan Kiss. Go Kings, go.